Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. We are live, although the game is a replay. It's QPad versus Dignitas, the deciding game number 3, the first live airing of it, and hopefully nobody's been spoiled yet. I certainly don't know how this series turns out. But with all that being said, it's QPad versus Dignitas. The good news is for this deciding game 3, the attacks did stop, it appears, as Dignitas. They've got their full 5-man roster inside the game. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit, and I'm joined here today by Vic Ramond. Vic, how you doing?
I'm doing great, LD. Not only do I not know who won the series, I actually didn't even know that it was replays until fairly recently. So I've got a big stack of books up on my desk that I was ready to start delving into if we did have DDoS. But I'm happy to see that these games, the flip side of them not being live, of course, is that we know for a fact that there weren't any dramatic server issues experienced by the players. And Dignitas with their full 5-man roster, I think, likely to at least put up more of a fight against QPad this game than we saw in the previous one.
Yeah, so while the draft is sort of unwinding itself, let's quickly take a look at the brackets, guys, as you may be curious, how does this match sort of fit into the bigger picture for the G1 League? Well, we have the Western qualifiers. We have 2 teams that will qualify from this event. We've gone through 4 play-in matches, 3 of them already complete. AL, Kaipi, as well as Mass Sports have already secured spots in the double elimination bracket. Dignitas and QPad are fighting for that last spot. Once you win your match in this play-in match, you move on to the double elimination bracket. So you have a little wiggle room, like you were mentioning in game 2, but still, you obviously have a tough opponent in that first round. Navi are waiting.
Right. No question about it. Now, the nice thing is, of course, even if you do fall to Navi, and I'm not saying the winner of this will, but it's certainly a possibility, you don't get eliminated. Whereas if you fall now in this decisive game 3, you lose what basically for both of these teams is your best chance of getting good experience with the top Asian teams in the world before TI3. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for a team that doesn't make it through the G1 process to actually get that hardcore, high-level time in with some of the best Chinese teams. So this is a fantastic opportunity for all the teams in this tournament, and I think we're going to see QPad and Dignitas really pull out the big guns for this game 3.
For that matter, there are invites to be had for the International if last year is any guide. You have to imagine that Valve will invite at least some teams. So this is a great shot to really state your candidacy, and going out in this first round of the qualifiers is not a good way to state that candidacy. Of course, I mean, hey, even putting up a fight against these teams is very impressive. But when you look at something like the International, I mean, it's not enough to be impressive. You have to blow their socks off to get an invite, and if you don't, then if it's anything like last year, you got to go through qualifiers. So winning this match, getting even further into the bracket, and then, like you said, getting the training and preparation and the experience of going to China is absolutely huge. But the draft is now underway, Vic, so well underway at that. So let's talk about it. On the side of QPad, they start with the first pick, Shadow Demon, for Jerax, and for me, it's a little surprising. Well, I guess there's the Bat Rider. It's actually Dignitas with first pick, so this makes more sense. But QPad has just straight first pick Shadow Demon before, so it's not the first time they've done it. This time it's technically their first pick, the second pick overall, but they go for the Chen Shadow Demon, and then they get the Kunkka for Sing Sing. So the Shadow Demon Kunkka combo for QPad, the Jungle Chen for Mini. But on the side, I feel like Dignitas is just the more stable overall opening. These 3 heroes can do anything. We've seen Clockwork play support. We've seen Gyro do that. Gyro can carry. It'd probably be out in Aui's hands as that one position safe lane farmer. The Bat Rider can go mid. The Bat Rider can jungle. The Clockwork can roam or play off lane. I mean, their lineup can do anything. With QPad, not really the case.
That's definitely true, LD. QPad, actually, whenever you see the Shadow Demon first from QPad, the Kunkka almost always follows as the 3rd pick. And so that's really what they're, I wouldn't say pigeonholing themselves into. This is an excellent lineup. And of course, one of the fun things of watching QPad, LD, is that they seem to come from this alternate universe of drafting where Darkseer, Keeper of the Light, these heroes just don't exist. And heroes like Kunkka, Faceless Void, just all sorts of weird things. Brewmaster, they play a lot more than most non-Asian teams. You just see all these weird heroes and a sort of a different approach. So I feel like you almost have to evaluate QPad on a slightly different scale than you evaluate most teams' drafts, because their goals are slightly different. So the Kunkka Shadow Demon is usually played by them. Sing Sing will play up the Kunkka. That becomes a very, very strong dual combo with that Shadow Demon that will probably be piloted by Jerax. And they'll seek to add an additional core hero. So they'll add on something like Alchemist, or maybe even Void, which I wouldn't love to see, but it is something that they've run in pair with this. Waga will take that other carry. He'll attempt to get farm, while Kunkka Shadow Demon and either Brewmaster or Magnus for select will seek to get dominance in the early to mid game.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to that mid game, it's very potent. We saw that in the group stages of the DreamHack Invitational, where QPad debuted, where they started to run, like you mentioned, the Chronosphere with Kunkka Boat. Very scary. The Cleave, very scary on top of it. If you throw an RP into the mix, if you throw some Shockwaves or any other sort of AoE, that hurts. That can easily win you a game with that kind of a team fight. But the problem for me is the landing stage for QPad is a little bit gimmicky. A combo like Shadow Demon Kunkka, strong against certain heroes. I don't feel you're going to find too many kills against a hero like Clockwork or against Batrider. Maybe if the Chen comes in. So we'll see. We'll have to see if they actually dual lane at mid. I know they've also experimented with the dual roaming. We saw that from them as well in game 1. So maybe it's the kind of situation where they put Kunkka mid, they'll give him a little help, because obviously he can't really lane 1v1 too effectively against Batrider, but they don't dual lane the full time, because I'm not sure they'll get too many kills doing that. And if you dual lane mid and don't get kills, especially against say like if it's Bat, he could just be in the jungle half the time and really pull ahead in terms of levels. It's kind of a waste of the lane in the end. So we'll see what they do, but I just feel like for Dignitas, it's going to be hard for QPad to find those early kills, and for that matter, to find the early towers, because Dignitas is so much counter push as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, LD. QPad, they've drafted a lineup that works for them. What I don't know, and I think this is what you're highlighting, is does it work against this Dignitas lineup? Dignitas have picked such a versatile lineup, it's so hard to guess the exact configuration that they're going to play these heroes in, and all of them have good keep away. All of them are going to be fairly hard to bring down. I actually don't really love the Chen here, LD, because I feel like until he's level 6, there's not that much that Mini is going to be able to add to any of QPad's lanes. And I just feel like if they can't win the laning phase, and if Dignitas bullies them a little bit in the laning phase, they'll really struggle to move into that sort of mid-late game dominance with Wagamama's hero, whatever it ends up being, perhaps Lifestealer, since we do see him still available.
Yeah, here's my sort of other question, is I look at Dignitas' lineup, so many heroes who can start the fights, who can really control the fights, from things like Call Down and Flat Cannon, later on to early game, you have Lasso, Flame Break, Cogs, Hook, as well as now a Shackle Shot. So all these heroes that can start fights, they can find pickoffs. For QPad, it's a Disruption and then a Torrent. I mean, that's all I'm seeing. So we'll have to see. Obviously, we're compared 4 heroes to 3. We'll see how the rest of their draft develops. And we'll see what they have up their sleeve, but I don't think something like the Void is going to work. I think they need something that has a little bit more of an early game presence, just because Dignitas, say what you will about their lineup, it definitely has its weaknesses. They are very, very level dependent, and in that sense, it's something we've seen a lot from Dignitas. People call it greedy, although they find ways to make it work by, say, throwing Clockwork into the support role. But my one concern is they have strong lanes overall, and if they get those levels, I'm not really sure if QPad will be able to find fights, because I feel like Dignitas will be the ones who have the control.
Absolutely. I think Dignitas somehow, even though we didn't talk about this, but in their second phase bans, they actually banned out the Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit, both of which I think are essentially wasted bans here, because the odds of Sing Sing not playing the Kunkka are incredibly low.
That's true. That's a good point.
So, but even with this, I agree with you, LD. Somehow Dignitas are really looking better coming through this draft. And I'm not sure that the Beastmaster actually changes that at all. Ooh, and the big all-in Templar Assassin from Snake King. This is a hero that he plays excellently.
And this was just a really kind of, I almost want to say masterful stroke with the draft, where they picked the TA this late. We've often seen it getting banned, because just Snake, for anyone who hasn't been watching Snake King play recently, every time he's playing TA mid, he's just snowballing. He's snowballing hard, and it's going the wrong way for the enemy team. I think I saw him like 14-1-12 the last time he played the TA.
He went 17-2 once, too. It was disgusting, honestly. It was hard to watch.
So this hero's been getting banned, even in the first stage, occasionally against Dignitas, I believe, but they pick it up last year. And looking at QPad's lineup, nobody can handle this hero 1v1. I'm not sure anybody can handle the Bat 1v1 either. I'm looking at these solos, and I feel like the Bat and the TA, there's nothing that can lane against the 1v1 effectively. Then you want to try and dual lane them. Even these dual lanes, I don't feel like you're getting kills. There's just not enough damage over time. So then the only other option I see for them is either early timey push, which is apparently where they're headed with this Juggernaut pick.
Looks like it.
Or just really effective dual roaming. And they could dual roam, because they do have 3 defensive strong cores. But overall, I just feel like Dignitas has more options in this draft. Whereas for QPad, very, very strong pushing lineup, very strong team fight if they can chain everything together. But it's the order of operations for them is a lot more complex than it is for Dignitas.
Definitely. QPad have a very tricky laning stage ahead of them. If they manage to sort of navigate the shoals of this Dignitas lineup and actually somehow find kills, despite the survivability and escapability of most of the Dignitas lineup, I think they can stabilize and actually have somewhat of an advantage in the mid game. But I don't know. I feel like this Beastmaster and Juggernaut are actually sort of a hard left turn late in the draft to sort of try to salvage a pushing lineup from what they have here. And I'm just not sure that it's enough of a pivot to be successful.
And the thing for Dignitas is with the Windrunner pick, I mentioned they have counter push, they now get power shot, and they also get Snake King and his ability to cleave through the creep. So with that being said, well, I'm feeling the one thing with Dignitas that I mentioned, I'll say it again, their lineup needs a lot of levels and farm. I mean, a lineup is definitely greedy from that set, especially the levels. The farm is less important, but on a lot of these heroes, you want to blink on the Batrider. You'd like some basic boots, upgraded boots on your Windrunner, some utility items later on. And then a hero like TA and Gyrocopter, obviously they do need a lot of levels, but Dignitas has this weird way of finding the levels where you don't think they will. Even on their roaming Clockwork, they love to stack Ancients for Fogged, and then later on he'll farm them, although he's actually playing the Batrider, so looks like it'll be Universe Clockwork. But yeah, I mean, they seem to find those levels even when you don't think they should. And with that being said, Vic, I'm jawing a lot. Let's introduce the teams. On the side of QPad, we got Jerax on that Shadow Demon. Early Smoke picked up. Maybe we'll see that early dual roam. Sing Sing on the Kunkka has been pulled quite heavily. Or no, sorry, not quite heavily, but has been given one set of regen. Mini on the Chen, sitting on a Smoke. 2 smokes up. So yeah, it is going to be kind of LGDN style. It does appear. Waga, off-lane Juggernaut, boots first for him. And then it will be Select on the Beastmaster.
Solo safe, I think.
I guess solo safe lane, and anticipating something like a Batrider or maybe a Windrunner there, which, well, he's right. There will be a Windrunner there.
It's about beating TA. It's about, they want to do the same thing to Snake King that they did in Game 1. And I just feel like without that godlike Split Earth, without the Professor X Shrek Split Earth that we got from Jerax in the first game, I don't know that they're going to be able to pick off Snake King quite as easily. But I'll go ahead and introduce what Dignitas are bringing to the table. Snake King, going up on that TA, we've seen some scintillating performances from him on this Templar Assassin recently in the past couple of weeks. We'll see if he repeats that here. In the looks like solo bot, we do actually have Aoi piloting the solo safe Gyrocopter. Definitely going to be getting as much farm as possible on that. And then Universe on the Clockwork. Way Too Sexy will be on this Windrunner. And to complete this out, Fogged, it looks like Jungle Batrider most likely.
And that's the thing is, the lineup, it is greedy just because the Jungle Batrider does nothing for you in the laning stage, but it's also efficient if they don't pressure enough. Because, yeah, he's jungling, but it's a bat jungle. If you leave him alone, 10 minutes in, he'll have Tranquil Boots and he'll have a Blink Dagger. And then he's a big problem for you, so let's see if QPad can shut down Snake King and then also turn that into towers and some map control. If they could do that, I think they'll be in great shape. The one thing I would have liked to see for them is trying to ward off the jungle to force that Batrider to rotate, but they didn't go aggressive. They don't really have the best level 1 lineup, and in the end, it's an unchallenged jungle, which means a much easier time for Batrider. You compare this to what we've seen out of teams like Zenith when IG were trying to run a jungle bat. They had 4 or 5 heroes in the enemy jungle. They warded 2 or 3 camps. They were body blocking camps. They were ganking the bat. It doesn't look like where QPad's going to be able to do that this game.
Right. They just couldn't do it because if they send 5 people into the jungle and they end up in a fight, so many of these QPad heroes do so very little on those level 1 first blood fights. Especially if it happens before jungle creeps spawn, and it would. You don't have many being able to mind control any creeps. You don't really have that much damage other than maybe a perfect Blade Fury coming out from Juggernaut. It's just such a questionable engagement that can really set them behind early, and they can't be behind early. QPad are going to have to make up with execution what they're not getting from their draft. And good execution early will allow them to push through with Healing Ward and actually secure a lot of map control. Bad execution early will give them no push opportunities and a greedy Dignitas lineup that's going to have the levels, have the farm, and just get huge map control onto QPad. Yeah,
it all comes down to even just that first smoke gank. Like, even if you hit correctly on the second or third, that first smoke gank can often just decide the way the game unfolds. And we've seen it before for LGDN in the positive direction, where the lineup seems a little bit unconventional compared to what other teams are running, but they make it work. Can QPad make it work? We will find out. But right now, content to just go do a little bit of jungling, a little bit of leveling. I imagine they want to get that soul catcher. But I don't think they'll sit in the jungle for too long. Maybe even hit level 3. But beyond that, it's just buying time for this Batrider. Soon he'll be level 3 once he stacks up that big camp and gets to work. And so with all that being said, we've talked a lot about some of the things that Dignitas has to keep their eyes on. How do you feel about the way the lanes are developing overall for QPad? I see right now, Owie's getting pretty much free farm. Universe is getting levels and a decent amount of farm in his own right. And then mid, well, Snake King 2 and 4. So not the best start for him. Sing Sing actually doing a great job early on, but it's going to get harder for Sing Sing.
Definitely. The nice thing, of course, about the Kunkka versus TA lineup is that you can peel off 2 stacks of Refraction by Tidebringering her if you manage to actually land the melee as well. And you can pick off Refraction stacks from afar with that Tidebringer as well. The lane I want to look at is top, because I feel like Select Beastmaster actually not a great lane matchup against Clockwork. You see Universe already bullying Select very heavily. I feel like QPad, they've got to find some of these early levels, and so it's going to be the question of Jerax and Mini roam. Where are they going to spend their limited resources to try to secure these lanes? Because otherwise, Wagamama is going to struggle. I actually think Sing Sing is going to be all right, but Select could struggle as well.
He's not going to win the lane, and as the TA levels, I think it gets up top lane. Nope, Select's okay. He did pop his healing salve, but it's under a lot of pressure early. And looking at the lane, Universe 7-2 to a 7-4 Beastmaster for Select. So not winning the lane technically, but when it's the off lane, you compare yourself to Wagamama. He's definitely getting more than Waga is out of the off lane. Smoke Gank number 1 maybe on the way as many. Not just yet. He's thinking about it, but still haven't seen that gank, and they did prep for it. They did a little bit of dewarding, clearing this hill over towards the top rune, making sure that Dignitas didn't have an observer here. So you know they want to go. They have 2 smokes. You know that they want to find those kills, but not going for them yet. And as they're not finding them, Snake King's getting his boots. Snake King's got his bottle. Soon he'll have level 3 refraction. Soon you already have to spend sentries on him because he's got meld. The gank gets more expensive and it gets harder the longer you wait.
Definitely. To the point where you might find it more attractive to try to get Universe. I do think they're waiting for Soulcatcher, but no, here we go. They're going to not wait for Soulcatcher. They're smoked up, and they'll see if Snake King makes a mistake. I'm not sure he will, though. You do see him playing, by the way, a lot more defensively on this TA than he was in the Quab.
Yeah.
Like, he's hanging back, sticking to high ground, not sort of running in.
Oh, they'll find him. They'll find him. They need a Centaur Stomp and probably a Surround here as well. The Torrent will fly. Is there a Sentry Ward available? That's the question. No, he's stunned. He's Test of Faith. He will go down, and the first gank works beautifully. So QPad, they waited patiently, but they do connect on that first gank. In spite of it, I think Dignitas is okay with giving up a few deaths in Snake King, just because, I mean, Fog's already level 4. Your Clockwork's getting more than he should in the sight of Universe. And then it's total free farm for Owie 2000. So I think they're fine with Snake King dying this game more so than the last game, but still a great start for QPad.
When you're as greedy as Dignitas are this game, you're okay if your hand gets slapped a little bit for your greed. You just don't want to sort of give away everything.
It's like if you're an investor and you invest in like 20 properties and 10 of them fail, but then 10 of them succeed spectacularly. That's sort of what we see from Dignitas. Lots of investments, some will pay off, some might not, and then they hope to come out overall on top as the game develops.
Exactly. Right. That's a great analogy. We do see Sing Sing. At this point, he's just sort of... I wonder how pressured he feels in this lane, or if he's just trying to set up a... Wow, a blind Torrent.
I think he wants to hate on this bat, but unfortunately not finding that bat.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have great vision here. Jerax and Mini haven't spent any time in this opposing jungle, so they haven't... Again, we were talking about it earlier, LD. They didn't just come right in and sort of take over the jungle for the bat, which, if they want to... Ooh, actually, they're going to go on Sing Sing again, so we do see Soulcatcher, it looks like, will land. He's taking quite a bit of damage, and yes... Easy secured kill for them there, going up 2-0. Dignitas, I feel they're still okay here, and Fogged is level 5, so eventually he'll be able to provide some bodyguard functions for Sing Sing, but so far, I mean, QPad are finding the kills they need, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not the supports that are the issue, it's the fact that their 2 solos are not really lane dominators. Juggernaut, not going to win a 1v1 matchup versus Gyro, especially not when the creep camp's being pulled by Way Too Sexy and denying a lot of experience there. And then you mentioned it, the Beastmaster Clockwork matchup, at best it's sort of an even matchup. It's definitely not a matchup that Beastmaster crushes by any means, so even though they're finding kills mid, Select, he'll get hooked top, now battery assaulted, and it looks like he is going to drop here. A big solo kill for Universe, now level 7. And it's one thing not to win your lane, but with a deck there, that's now a lane that Dignitas is thoroughly winning.
Right. Beastmaster can get better at creep kills, but as you see there, if Clockwork gets on him, suddenly you're in a world of trouble. And Universe very well played to him there, but that's kind of what I was looking out for from this lane. And so I feel like Dignitas, in terms of the sort of master plan, they still feel like it's coming together, even if Snake King cops a couple deaths. But we do see a little more activity from QPad, finally making an incursion into this bottom lane. Shadow Poison goes out, there's the Torrent, they get the combo, here comes the ship, that'll kill Way 2, and he's down. Another solid kill for them, only on the support though.
Meanwhile, Universe top lane, on the run, the stun's gonna miss, nice jukes from him. Is there gonna be a follow-up axis? It looks like there will be soon, and unfortunately he pulls Select in with him. Select says, thanks, I'm gonna chop your head off now, if you don't mind. But while this is happening, Snake King gets some space, Snake King is farming, and of course Fog does. It's a game where Dignitas keep on trading. Like, yeah, their heroes dying, they're down 1-4, but I'm just looking at the gold graph, man, and they're only down by 500 gold. They've given up a first blood. Experience they're even leading by, and they're leading by 1,500 experience at that. It just goes to show you how efficient a jungle bat really is, as well as how efficient Way Too Sexy has been pulling the creeps, repeatedly doing double pulls on the bottom lane.
They're going to go for Snake King again in the middle. They land the Soul Catcher again, and this Torrent on point again. But Snake King may actually make it out. Good cogs and good hook from Universe. They might try to turn this around, but I think they probably should just back out. Sing Sing taking a little damage. Here comes Fogged. If he gets the perfect flame break, this is a double kill easily. They're going to pick off Mini, no problem. Sing Sing next to fall. And that will be the kill secured on him by Fog. Taking a little bit of tower damage, but just going to Firefly to the low ground. Makes it out okay, and the flame break to cover his escape. Wagamama unfortunately arrives too late, and this is a very, what's the expression? Soy sauce juggernaut? He just has boots of speed.
Oh, I think that, yeah, that's the expression from the Chinese netizens to refer to any hero who's just basically a big creep. That's our Juggernaut. I mean, he does have some abilities, but not particularly farmed at that. The one issue for me is, where was Select in that situation? Oh god. As soon as I look away, Snake King's just diving him at the tower. Sorry I missed that kill. First missed kill of the game, of the day actually, but I'll try to not miss any more, guys. Select right now, level 8, so my issue is, where was Select in that fight? Didn't have mana, had apparently blown it all pushing the creeps. Not saying it's his fault, but they need him to be available for these fights. So either a team miscommunication or just Select not really paying attention, not having the TP up. He's their key counter initiator and just wasn't there. Yes,
they need to... actually, a smoke gank. If they can get Aoi, I feel like they can turn around how bad this has been going. But no, they lack the speed. Jerax and Sing Sing just not quite fast enough. Even with the phase on Sing Sing, they need disruption to start it off. So movement speed is actually more important for Jerax than it is for Sing Sing. And so they couldn't find the gank there. I was going to say, Dignitas is essentially presenting a whack-a-mole problem to QPad, where they're farming so many lanes and so many areas, and QPad just doesn't have enough mallets to sort of whack all these moles. So you see Dignitas, they're way ahead on level development. 3 players at level 8. It's going to be harder and harder to actually gank these guys.
Yeah, it's what we talked about. If they get through the laning stage, these are hard heroes to kill. And as something like a Shet, you can blow a Beastmaster Roar, a Disruption, a Soul Catcher, maybe you get one off of that. But getting multiple heroes, much, much more difficult for them. Kunkka Boat is a great, just find a kill and get out kind of ability. Same for the Beastmaster Roar. And that's fine if you turn it into towers, if you turn it into a farming advantage, but the way Dignitas are farming, we're looking at a Batrider Blink Dagger, even with all the ganking, maybe at the 14-15 minute mark. They did fail a smoke gank earlier, but all things considered, still leading by 1,500 gold, still leading by 3,500 experience, and now the score is tied up 4-4. And the biggest thing that we talked about in the draft was they tried to turn it into a pushing lineup with the Juggernaut and the Beastmasters, their final 2 picks.
Right.
But as far as that pushing goes, I'm looking at Tier 1's mid, very healthy. Same for the top Tier 1 has actually taken a lot of damage, but isn't down yet. And the Tier 1 bottom, completely healthy. So 9 to 10 minutes in, a Chen, a Juggernaut with a Healing Ward, and a Beastmaster, who has gone 2 points to Inner Beast. QPad, they really need to start taking down these outer towers, and do it without trading too much either.
Exactly, and the problem is that I just don't feel like they quite have the lineup for it. They're going to start finally pushing now at the 10-minute mark. Universe will have to peel off of this. This is the first Tier 1 tower, but the other shoe just didn't drop on this pushing composition. Actually, they're warded off just by Way Too Sexy, and this tower, they could even deny this if they felt like it, which they may or may not. Yeah, they will.
Okay, they will choose to deny it in the end. They already blew their glyph, so that's the reason for it. We'll see one trap detonated middle lane, but he'll be okay, and Way Too Sexy, he gets that tower denied top, so... I mean, all things considered, here's the other thing. Aoi 2000 has been left entirely unchecked. He's got to play more, he's got phase boots, rate of assist, we're 11 minutes in, 73 CS, that's about a little under 7 CS a minute. That's pretty close to free farm, and his lane was being pulled, and he's gyrocopter, he doesn't have the best base damage. So basically, as close to free farm as you get on a gyro.
Aui's farm has been fantastic, and he's a fantastic farming carry. I just love how gutsy this Dignitas... Ooh, nice Shackle on Sing Sing. They're not going to do anything with it because they just don't have the tools there. But just to make QPad worry a little bit. What I was going to say is I actually really like how gutsy this greedy lineup from Dignitas was, because they know that QPad are going to try to seek to close it out on them with ganks early. So they picked a lineup that, yes, you can gank us, but so many other people are getting so much farm while you're doing those ganks that we can just shrug that off, because we'll still get ahead of you on farm and levels. And I actually think this late turn into a pushing lineup hurt QPad more than it helped, because not only have they not found the push, that decreases their available resources to go ganking. If Select was on his sort of on his solo lane Magnus, how much more mobility and killing power would that give them than having Waga on this hard lane Juggernaut has? What has this hard lane Juggernaut really accomplished so far in the absence of farm?
Yeah, and
in the absence of push?
And again, it's no criticism of Waga. It's just what does the hero do in that matchup? He does nothing. You can get levels, that's it. You're not farming, you're not controlling the lane, it's just a limitation of the hero in that situation. And now QPad is going to go jungle, but Dignitas, they're going to win this jungle war, so I don't know what QPad pulls out of the hat here. If you try to go for towers, Dignitas has shown they can defend well, and they could trade pretty effectively at that, so it's a real tough situation for them, but we're now looking at about a 3k gold lead 12 minutes in, and more importantly, far more importantly for me, a 6k experience lead. They're going to smoke up and head bottom. But if this doesn't work, they fall further and further behind.
Yeah, I hate to call this a complexity gank, but if this smoke doesn't like do amazingly, it's really not
and Way2 spotted it out. He broke the smoke. That's a lot of waste of time. Now they'll try to transition into a push, I imagine. But will they get the trade?
I don't think they will.
Snake King is here, and it looks like he's going to defend. In fact, it's Dignitas who are going to start working on the tower top. Oh man, QPad just falling further and further behind as we progress into the mid game.
Right. It's tough for QPad. At this point, I almost feel like you have to sort of try to get the Juggernaut in it in some way other than a walking healing ward. Because otherwise,
mid lane,
I just don't know what they bring.
Fog's got a shiny new Blink Dagger. Look for the Shackle from Way2. Won't actually land it, but now burning the Firefly. Flamebreak is there, pushes him back. Disruption is available, so they will back off in the end. And meanwhile, bottom lane, just Snake King kind of scouting things out. So the Blink Dagger was shown. I think Fog had already shown a top, actually, but doesn't find a kill off. Yeah, he had, but doesn't find a kill off of it. Select will pick up a Blink of his own. This could be potentially the way that they look to turn this game around. Now they have a way to... You mentioned mobility being an issue for them. They don't have Skewer. Now they have that mobility. So let's see what they can make happen. This first usage of the Blink Dagger will be very crucial for QPad.
Aoi in trouble bottom, by the way. They actually have sight, so there we go. The Blade Fury, the stun from the Centaur, I think, still to come out. No, actually, Aoi makes it out. And this is solely just level 10 Gyrocopter laughing in the face of 8 Juggernaut and 6 Chen. He's just got too much HP.
Yeah, there was an Omni Slash available, but it looks like... Or maybe Waga just got mana after bottling up, but...
Their only vision was, I think, the net, yeah.
Yeah, the Dark Troll Warlord net reveals while a unit is ensnared, but once it wears off, you don't get vision of them. So, weren't able to find the kill during that time, and unfortunately, it means he's able to farm continuously for Aoi, and Shadow Blade up, as you mentioned. Now he could start going for some big damage items. Blinking from Select. The first issue of the Blink Dagger. Looks like Way2 Sexy will take a fall here. A crucial pickoff for them. They're going to have to back off now, though. Ushered away just by Universe, but here comes the follow-up. It's actually Fog. Flame breaks 2 back. Eats an Omni Slash. Eats a net. Is this the turnaround QPad needed? A blink forward from Select. A hook forward from Universe. Everybody wants to man up. Now it's the Beastmaster wants to ran down. Aoi dropped a huge call down to the midst of that, and a flat cannon as well, but doesn't bring anyone down. The Hand of God able to turn around. Now the Beastmaster will fall. Trap detonates on 3. In comes Snake King, his bread and butter. These chaotic fights. Blade Fury deployed again, but do they have the vision? Do they have the damage to bring him down? It's Waga on the run. It's Waga who looks to fall here. He will fall. Well, doesn't look to. I'm sure he would prefer not to, but he falls nonetheless. And QPad, the aggression blunted, never got the tower off of that. And it's Dignitas, the greedy lineup, the multiple farmer lineup, who now looks to push.
Yeah, good entry by Snake King there, just acting as the cleanup crew. QPad were slowed down so much that they actually didn't feel comfortable with a full retreat, and just that instant of hesitation caused Snake King to come out and just start bashing down. It's not like this Templar Assassin has that much in the way of items. I mean, we're talking about power treads, basically drums coming fairly soon. I don't know, I feel like QPad, they're still in it, but they need to somehow get more on this Kunkka and more on the Juggernaut and find good initiations with the Blink Roar. And the margin for error for them is dropping rapidly.
Yeah, it was always a thin margin for error, but it gets even thinner now. And at the end of the day, the problem for them is it's a support utility juggernaut. Waga's not carrying this game. He can maybe offer some utility, some damage, some additional push. Sing Sing's going to have to be the big damage dealer, but he's a melee carry who's up against a Clockwork and a Bat Rider, as well as a Templar Assassin, two of the most infuriating heroes to play against as a hero like Kunkka. Sure, the cleave has long range, but that also has a long cooldown, and I feel like Kunkka is just not a hero that you run as a one-position carry. He's a hero that you run as a utility with a secondary carry. They will find a kill mid, so nice movement from Select, but the hook comes in, the turnaround is there. From long range, from downtown comes Universe, and it looks like they'll get two. They'll find Jarex, just waiting for that disruption, but not able to escape afterwards. The Flame Break will actually push Jarex back, but an additional trap deployed. Might be Mini who's next in line. Jarex sent away. Now the stun for Mini. Great Chen control. But unfortunately, his great Chen control, as well executed as it was, doesn't find them kills, isn't finding the map control, is just helping to stem the bleeding.
Right, and Mini, he's playing about as well as can be expected of him here. He's had very, very, very good Chen control, frankly. They almost got a kill on Aoi solely because of great coordination between the same Centaur Conqueror Dark Troll Summoner that he's been holding onto for like 10 minutes now. The problem is, they need more than that. Chen alone, a man can't eat on just Chen, man.
Okay.
You need some sort of damage.
I'm just saying, Mask of Madness, Daedalus. If Sing Sing ain't gonna do it, it's your time, Mini.
He's got to start training Penance ASAP, because that with the mask is what really gives you the battle Chen.
Well, I'm not going for it just yet. And now Dignitas, they're going to rotate 4 top, actually, as Snakey retreats into the jungle. And, I mean, the other nice thing is I feel like Snakey has really composed himself compared to that second game where we saw he started to die, and he really kept on pressing. This game, he's been a little more defensive. And the other difference is QPad have not been as devoted to keeping him down as they were.
Right.
They haven't been able to devote as much as what they did in Game 2.
Exactly. It's like I said, I mean, there were so many things that they had to do, and they did some of them. They will get a stun on Snake and This might actually maybe...
Hook in, catches out Mini, now cogged up, the Hand of God is there on the back line. It's a Roar who catches up Fog right as he blinked in, but he's not going down yet. Waga unloads with his ult. He did pwn Snakeade, brings him down, but now the Bat Rider lasted to pull Jarex back in, and Aoi has not been dealt with. The Aoi problem is now going to rear its ugly head. He picks off Waga. Can he find more? Universe? No hook. It looks like 3. Wow, 3 dead. It felt like 1 or 2. Power shot to fly. Not going to find anyone else. And they defend the tower. It's just QPad pressing. And I don't even feel it's bad that they're doing it because they have to make something happen now. But the more that they fail to make something happen, the harder it gets to make something happen.
Exactly, and they just, part of the reason it seems like only one person died is just they die so quickly, LD. Sorry to say, but QPad, because of this level deficit, because they haven't built some of these important items, they just get picked off very quickly in a fight, where maybe if they were all staying up they could make something happen, but Aoi just has great damage at this point. Universe is able to guarantee taking somebody out of the fight because his hooks have been excellently on point. Now building towards the Aghanim Scepter, actually a little more than halfway there, which will mean on-point hooks delivered every 12 seconds to your doorstep. And QPad, it's still this tension in their lineup. Jug and Kunkka can actually take it late and do fairly well, but then this sort of the pushing aspect of their lineup is neutered by that fact. If you still are facing a team with 5 outer towers up at 19 minutes, what did you have your Jug run off-lane solo for? You could have run him safe lane solo and actually tried to farm him up. Now, Wagamama is caught in the extremely unappetizing position of having to completely turn himself into a carry Jug out of essentially nothing. And that's basically what will have to sort of alchemy up for us to make it happen for QPad.
Well, the DDoS continues. It's actually Valve DDoSing this game with their server issues. Well, it looks like everybody was lagging, of course. And if you're just tuning in, this is Game 3 of Dignitas versus QPad. The first live airing of the replay of this Game 3 is it was played in secret because, well, the players, the admins, they just wanted to get the game done and over with. And as we head into into crunch time, really, it's a big lead for Dignitas in the deciding Game 3, leading by about 12k gold, about 10k experience, as well as having better map control. I would say straight up just better late game, aside from a huge item advantage for QPad. And then we look at the bracket. So the winner of this match, they move on to play Na'Vi. That's a tough start, but the good news is if you lose, you're not out. You just drop down to the losers bracket. With all that being said, no time to look at them anymore because we will unpause.
Right. I mean, like you said, this is a huge opportunity for both teams. I do expect them to fight it to the bitter end. Why not? having a shot,
what
even
the hell,
the
man?
slimmest of shots. Yeah.
So, I mean, for Dignitas, I think it's pretty obvious what you do. You play Dignitas Dota, which is sit back, let your opponents make mistakes, and then punish the crap out of them. Because you have the better late game, you have multiple carries, you have more farm, you have equally decent map control, if not better. It feels like they have better just because QPad are very scared. Even though the ward game is fair. Yeah, actually, even the wards favor Dignitas too. So, yet every respect, they're fine to sit back. For QPad, I guess they don't have a choice. It doesn't seem like they can take fights, even though they it feels they need to at the same time.
The problem is QPad are in Dignitas' world now, right?
Yeah.
Basically, like you said, they're playing the exact game that Dignitas absolutely love playing. Maybe you could say this has almost become too habitual for Dignitas, but this is the perfect game for it. Like, they don't have to do anything other than wait for Jerax to get caught out in the top here. There's no way the Shadow Demon survives. Good Shackle, and that's just going to be trivial easily. No ultimates spent for that. And just reminding QPad, hey, if you venture anywhere that you don't have a tower, and oh, by the way, you only have one tower, we'll find you and kill you. And this is probably Roshan, no problem for them. Snaking, actually, with that DD rune. And TA, she's a Roshan killer. She reduces that armor, makes Roshan's effective HP so much lower. He's gonna drop before I even finish this sentence. Alright, maybe not.
You gotta draw your sentence out. Nick, I was so excited for that smooth delivery, but you failed. And you are now fired. Goodbye. Ready, this guy pull
the hook.
A hook! Another hook from Universe. He's been on the money this game. And Waga, he tries to Blade Fury, but the lasso's there. Cancels that out. And if you're Dignitas, I think you can even break the base. What is QPad going to do to stop this? Drop a boat? I mean, that's only going to delay this push. It ain't going to stop it. Just a torrent to start. Snaking muscling down on this tower. Fogged. He's waiting. He's got a 4-staff up as well. We saw it in that last fight. Now Jerax will throw out some nukes. But they can slow siege this. I think they can even aggressively dive this. And either way, QPad are going to need the fight of their lives if they hope not to get knocked out of the G1 League qualifiers right here.
Right. At the very least, they need to stall it out for Waga, which luckily, hey, he's only level 11. His respawn time is not actually that significant. So, Dignitas peeling back, again, pretty Dignitas move right here. They're just going to wait it out a little bit, continue constricting them. I mean, we talked about map control, LD. How much map control did they seize with those last couple ganks? They have completely... They know everything that's happening on QPanda's side, other than maybe around the tier 2 top tower.
I press F2, I see bad things for QPanda. Very little vision on their side of the map, and then more importantly, amazing vision for Dignitas. And the thing we talked about is Dignitas have so much of an easier to execute lineup and so many lineups that at this point in the game. And then so many heroes, if they get to this point in the game, they can start the fights. Clockwork, great at starting the fights. Batrider as well. Even a TA can just jump on in. And a hero like Gyro can zone the enemy team away and therefore start them. For QPad, who starts the fights? We'll see. Sing Sing find out who starts the fight. Stop. No, he'll be okay. Shadowblade up, no detection it looks like. And well, meanwhile, Universe just doing what he does best, which is apparently killing the entire enemy team by himself.
I mean, he'll have that Agnes about 250. Aoi in a bit of trouble here. They finally find the Omni/Roar combo. He gets away! They still don't have vision. I was just thinking about this when they were trying to kill him top, and they still don't have it. Aoi gets away from 2 ultimates, and that's no ultimates for them here. Mini finds himself caught out completely, and Dignitas, oh man, little bit of luck there. Aoi didn't have a lot of HP when he finally got that Shadow Blade going, but still, just wasting QPanda's time, and time is a resource that they don't have much of at this point. Losing those Mini, every single one of these groups is going to die, LD.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, I mean, Mini's not running for that, right? Like, every hero in Dignitas has an escape mechanism, whether it's Refraction, whether it's Meld, Firefly, Cogs, even things like Wind Run. Every single hero, and then a Shadow Blade and the Gyro. That's 5 heroes with escapes. You look at QPad, how many escapes do they have? A Shadow Blade on Kunkka. That's it. I mean, and Disruption, but that only delays the inevitable. It doesn't get you away. Dignitas can take fights. If they don't work, they back out much easier. If QPad try to take fights and they don't work, they're screwed. And if they get caught, they're also screwed. So, I mean, I guess it sounds kind of obvious at this point, but it's not a good situation for them.
You're basically saying they're screwed every which way on Sunday, but
unless they have like a perfect 5-man boat torrent, then maybe they can at least hold Dignitas off.
I feel like if they want to go long, which they are signaling, I mean, goodness gracious, the broadsword on Sing Sing, I mean, he's started Battle Fury, and he has begun it about 10 minutes after people sometimes end it.
I think it's Crystallis.
Oh, it's Crystallis, of course. Sorry. Oh my god, I had a brain fart there. My bad. Crystallis actually is a lot better, but still, it's gonna be a while before those crits come online. At the very least, they need vision. Oh, and they don't have it. Here's Universe.
Another hook, and it's gonna be Jarek's called out, then the lasso as well. Dignitas just using exactly what they need to get each kill, but Wog able to Blade Fury, trying to run away. Now Sing Sing on the run as well. Hand of God gets to point. Select is caught. It's just like a pack of piranhas in a body with some open wounds in the water. One by one, they're starting to fall down. Now on to Select. Rocket to fly as well. He's able to blink back. Will Sing Sing escape too? He will, but
hook in one.
They're just trying to.
He's gonna hook again.
They're just trying to backdoor their way through this. Now this, I don't think they have the damage for yet. But with the Rapier, that maybe... No, Owie will go MKB, so... I just want to see a Gyro Rapier. It's like the dumbest thing in the world as a caster say, oh, is he going to build a Rapier when a team's winning heavily? But I just say it anyway because I want to see a Rapier. So screw you guys if you're flaming me. But yeah, no Rapier for Owie. Just an MKB. And with this, they'll go break the base. A hook! A hook again! The hooks! The hooks keep on coming. And for QPad, this may well be the end. I think that's one hook too many.
No, I mean, this was the hook parade later on. Clockwork is amazing at just when you're desperately trying to defend that high ground, and every 12 seconds you run the risk of just losing 2 people. It's impossible to deal with, basically. At this point, given QPanda's position, at this point, yeah, I mean, really no hope. They do GG out. This was Rax's. Excellently played by Dignitas. I really feel like they went a strategy that they liked, but not just the safest strategy. They didn't pick, like, pure safeness with something like a Lone Druid or something, where sort of the ultimate Dignitas-y grind-you-out lineup. They did seek to grind QPanda out, but they did so very cleverly by drafting heroes that were hard to kill and could all sort of find farm anywhere on the map. And they did. Every single one of them found what they needed to find, and Way Too Sexy, this is sort of like the old, like, IG-1 Protect 4, right? They basically had 4 core heroes and just Way Too Sexy filling in the rest of this Windrunner.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I guess the final point that I would sort of make is, you know, Dignitas, I feel like QPad did draft themselves into a corner, and it sort of reminds me of LGD International, where when they started in the G League group stages, they seemed unstoppable. That was their big coming out party, their big debut. But teams have started to figure them out, and they've been forced to kind of adapt their style to pick more versatile drafts, and Ultra Kill for Owie at the Fountain. Why the hell not? I feel like QPad, they're going through those same growing pains where they were a new face on the scene, they picked some really cool creative combos, unusual stuff like the Kunkka Void combo, but teams have started to understand what they do and then find the holes, and at the end of the day for Dignitas, finding those holes. We see, you know, they went for the Jungle Batrider, which in some games is just super greedy, but in this game, what could QPad really do to punish it? When you start with those 3 picks, the Shadow Demon, Kunkka, Chen, you just can't really take over their jungle. Kunkka can't deal with the Batrider 1v1, he needs help. And if someone's helping him mid, that means you can't really go that aggressive into their jungle. And even if you do, how effective will you be with a Chen, Shadow Demon +1, and then, I mean, maybe you can find him, but he's a hard here to kill for those two. So I felt like the way the draft developed was just so much better for Dignitas, and QPad, maybe with LGD at level execution they could pull it off, but even then, I think Dignitas just had their number this game. Unfortunately for QPad, they had their number in an elimination game. So Dignitas, they move on to face Navi, and QPad, they go home.
The thing about QPad, and you spoke to this, is that even though their drafts come from another planet, it's not an uncharted planet. Like, if you look at their drafting, you can sort of see sort of the patterns, see which heroes they rely upon. Even though they're different heroes, their pool actually isn't that big yet. And if you're a team like Dignitas, who do quite a bit of meticulous research, at least 2 or 3 of their players I know like really study the teams that they face, you can sort of figure it out. When you see that Shadow Demon first from QPad, the odds of Kunkka following are extremely good. And we just saw Dignitas pick 3 excellent heroes that they knew QPad probably wouldn't lock up, and that they would be effective with. And after that, QPad was sort of adrift in the draft. Right from that point on. And with their 4th and 5th picks, they were just like, maybe we can make a plan B work. And they ended up sort of facing a Dignitas that were laser focused on one plan and executing it. I mean, a good series, I think, but in the end, Dignitas will still have a chance to go further in G1, and unfortunately, QPad will not.
At the end of the day, it is a learning experience for QPad. They're a relatively young and new team. Sure, they've been scrimming for a while. We've seen them scrimming on streaming that for a couple of months, but only settled on the roster about a month ago. Dignitas, they've been around for a long time as a team, even back to before the International 2 when they were bottom. So with Snake King returning, despite all the issues, the connections, the delays, what have you, Dignitas, they prevail in this Game 3, and they will move on to face Na'Vi in the next round. Guys, that will wrap it up for today's replay cast of the G1 League, and we're now caught up to date to the present date. The next G1 League broadcast will be this upcoming, what is it? It's the 23rd at, actually, let me just double check. I made a Reddit post, so the information is there, but since it's not coming to me at the top of my head, I'm going to take 1 second and just get you the correct date and time. The next live broadcast will be April 23rd at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, if you're over on the East Coast of the U.S., 10 a.m. Central European Summer Time, or 16 SGT. So the next match will be a live match. It'll be the first test run since the DDoS attacks began. Hopefully the teams have figured out how to secure their connections, and hopefully the DDoSer has gotten bored and gone away so we can have our awesome Dota. With all that being said, Vic, we're done for this series. We're done for today's broadcast. We will have WePlay.tv Dota 2 League action coming up in a few hours, but we're done for G1 League, and I would like to give you a chance to plug yourself. Who are you? Where can people follow you? Tell us about you.
Sure. So I do a little bit of casting, a little bit of writing coverage, a little bit of everything, trying to do some jack-of-all-trades action. You can find me anywhere that Vikromond goods are sold, VYKROMOND. If you Google it, you'll probably find either my Twitch, Twitter, YouTube.com, whatever the hell. This is going to bite me in the ass because somebody eventually will register this name and it'll just be a disaster. But for now, if you look up my name, you'll find me. And I really appreciate the chance to cast this, LD. It's a great series, two fantastic teams that are exciting to watch.
Hey, thanks for being here, man. A lot of people are sleeping right now, but thank you all very much to the 12,000 of you who tuned in at the last minute with all these amazing games. And, well, it's over for now, but we'll be back in just a few hours with the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. So if you want more action, we have QPad versus Empire coming up, Kaipi versus Dignitas, and then 3 more exciting best of 3s, as well as I'll adjust my uncensored overlay. But guys, that's a wrap. I'm LD. He's Vikromond. If you enjoy his casting, follow him. Twitter.com/Vikromond. VYKROMOND. As for me, I'm LD. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter.com/LDDota. But more importantly, stay tuned. We'll have more action for the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League coming up in a few hours. Actually 3.5, so I may take the stream down or play a classic game. But in 3.5 hours, we will resume our coverage with WePlay.tv. We'll see you then.
Peace.